Hey campers, George here, back in the man cave. Tonight, I was just looking through some of my things and I came across one that I told you about that I had, and I really didn't want to do a review on it because I felt it's been done a lot and a lot of people make them, and that is the GI utility knife. And this one is from Marbles. Decided to show it to you because I found something else and I thought they'd go well together. Yeah, it's a hunk of steel from Marbles. It's odd. Let's check it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the Marbles GI utility knife. This guy. It's all stainless steel. I really like this series that they came out with the stainless steel. You know, the all stainless steel. I like the look of it. Very old school, and you can see it here. It has that similar handle to the GI knife, and the fisherman style. It has these little nicks in it here, which gives it a bit of texture to the handle. Does it matter? I don't think it really helps. It's stainless steel, and it is just a pure, clean stainless steel. It doesn't have any special finish to it. It's just nice and shiny, and you can see here how clean it is on there. And that's what I like about these. They really look clean and old school. I'm becoming really big on old school. Well, I'm an old guy. What can I say? As you know, this is a knife that was based on a knife that was made for the GIs in the Second World War. And I can't remember who came out with the first one, the official one. There are a lot of them out there. A lot of manufacturers have made them, and they all have basically the same thing on them. That's the style. Say hello to Mary. She's stopping by to see what I'm playing with today. And you can see it has basically 4 blades and tools on it. You've got your regular blade here. You have the can opener, the bottle opener, and then the punch. Now, it does have a bail on it, and it has that long style bail, which is a little different. It's nice. I like it. It's kind of stiff on there. It's not very loose, which is okay. I really like the way they look. We can close it up and we can have a look at the blade. And here you can see the blade there, and you can see the Marbles engraved on there. Marbles quality knives. It does have a nail neck, and it has the match strike in it. Obviously, in that period, everybody used matches, and they would use that to strike their match. The style of blade, this is, as you can see, it is really a spear point blade on there. Stainless steel, and I believe it is 440 stainless steel. The whole thing, everything is stainless on here. Even the pins in the handle are stainless. They do a good job there. Everything lines up nice and straight. The blade length, 2.625 inches. That's what they say. And I'm assuming right here from the edge of the handle to the tip. So 2.6, not too bad. It's a nice length, very typical. You know, the handle fits in your hand really nicely. Although it's not as comfortable as the more modern styles, simply because if you look at it down here, if you look straight down there, you can see it's got sharp, I don't want to say sharp edges, but it's a strong 90 on it. So comfort-wise, not the best, but really wasn't designed for comfort. It was designed as a utility knife. You wanted to use this knife to do all the tasks you want if you were a GI. Opening cans, cutting your food, opening a bottle, repairing your equipment using the punch and things like that. So it had everything you needed on it for a typical GI use. And they used them really hard. They stood up very well. They were very good knives, very popular. Even today, these are popular knives. Blade thickness, you can see it there, 1/16 of an inch. Fairly typical, and I think they all are about the same. They don't say what the thicknesses are and everything else, but I assume it's the same. Closed length, like this, just like that, not including the bail, just the knife. That fits in there really nicely. If you have a look at the other stuff, let's just get that blade out there. I'm going to pull this guy out. Here, you have the bottle opener. Having looked at the reviews on this little hole here is a little small, and people say it's really hard to get the bottle open to work. You actually have to hold it at an angle to pop it open, which doesn't surprise me. It seems that everybody seems to be having that problem with everybody who's making these knives. On the top here, a flat screwdriver, and that's typical as well. Here's the can opener. Looking at this can opener, it's about the same as that GI knife that I showed you, and I did go upstairs and I did open a can with it, and it worked just as well. So the can opener works as well. They've done a good job on it. They figured that out. On the can opener here, you can see at the bottom there, it does say marbles down there, and on the other side it's just blank. I didn't look at the blade. I want to see if they say they have something there. Let me close that. Which is typical, the same as the other one. Says marbles on that side, and on that side it gives the model number, and it says China, so it is made in China like all the others. I really like this stainless steel. It just appeals to me. It looks clean. It looks like it's going to last. It's solid. It's a nice weight. It holds in my hand nicely. You can't beat what, this style came with, what they came out for, with what this was going to be used for by the GIs. It just worked so well. It is a slip point, so it doesn't lock, but let's see how good that spring is on it, and it doesn't work very well. You can see that it doesn't really pull it in, but going up there, it goes in there pretty good. You can see there. But closing it down into the blade, it doesn't really click in. You're going to have to bring it all the way in. One thing that was pointed out to me before, watch the bail. If you're using the knife and the bail is out, and you move that bail here, you're going to see what's going to happen when you close that knife. The blade is going to hit right there on the bail. The fourth tool on here, like I said, is what they call the punch. I think of it more of an awl, but what do I know? They talk about a punch, and if you have a look at it, you can see it there. Very nice. Almost a sharp edge there. I'd like to see a little bit tighter point on here. It's not quite sharp. You want to work on leather, and you're going to put it in, you want to be able to punch through the leather. The stuff that they had was, I believe, canvas. A lot of it was canvas. That wouldn't be a problem with this. Nice knife. Really like this knife. The weight, if you're a working guy and you're looking for an EDC, a work EDC, this will work really nice. This is something you carry on you all the time. It has everything you need. It's fairly heavy, but not overly heavy. If you're wearing normal work pants, this is not going to bother you. If you're wearing a pair of tight denims, it's going to stick out and it's going to bother you. You're going to feel it. The weight, believe it or not, they gave the weight in kilograms, 0.2 kilograms. There you go. You might want to convert that. But you can see the knife there. It looks nice. It's nice. I love this stainless steel. I know I keep saying that, but it's really nice. It stands out. And there you have it there. And you can see the bail there. So you have the knife, can opener, the punch, and the bottle opener with a screwdriver, a flat screwdriver on the end. Very nice. I like this. It's a nice knife. I don't normally use a bottle opener. I can't tell you the last time I used a bottle opener to pop a cap. Everything's screw off now. You don't really need them, but you never know. And, it does have the screwdriver on it, so there is something there to it. This can come in handy. Even if you're using it in the bush, you want to make a hole in a piece of wood because you want to go through it, that would probably work just fine. Maybe sharpening that point a little bit more would help. That edge will probably help a little, but it's not a very sharp edge. How sharp is the knife? Doesn't feel that sharp. It feels sharp down here, but not up here. I did get a comment on my last video about sharpening knives. I think I sharpened one of my knives. I can't remember what I was doing with it, but it needed to be sharpened, and I sharpened it on my workshop, and I didn't strop it. And he said, if you want a really clean edge, you got to strop. So I went out and got me some stropping material for that. So I'm going to look at that and try it out. Now, if it looks like it works for me, I'm going to make a video of it and show you. I don't know anything about stropping. I know very little, and basically it's the same thing you do when you sharpen on a stone. You're just using leather and stropping paste or whatever they call it. That's another video. The GI utility knife. This is the traditional GI knife. When somebody says I have a GI knife, this is probably what they're talking about. The other one didn't have the awl, and it didn't have a bottle opener. It just had the can opener and the blade, and I really like that. I still have to say I think that's the better knife. This would be a good knife to have as an EDC knife in maybe a bug out bag or something like that, as your backup. Your 2 is 1, 1 is none. This can be your multitasker, so works great. I like it. Oh yeah, told you I had a hunk of steel, right? I'm not kidding. Marbles had this, and you want to check it out. A hunk of steel. They're not kidding. It is a hunk of steel. It's a multi-tool, basically, and it has different things on it that you can use for different things, obviously. But I thought it was very cool, and I thought, if you're going to have a bug-out bag with some backup stuff in it, these two would go great. Stainless steel, and so is this. They look good together, and I thought I'd show them to you. So what does this have on it? Well, it has a bottle opener, but it does have something that was a little unusual, and that's this here. Does anybody know what that is? And yeah, gas bottles, oxygen bottles. This is what you use to open an oxygen bottle, to turn it on and off. See, here you have your nuts that you can, different sizes on it, and they even have these up here, which are a little bit bigger, and you can see them on the side there. How useful this is? Yeah, I'm not sure. One thing that, before I get into that, you see this here? This is what they call, believe it or not, their Phillips head screwdriver. And if you look at it there, you can see it's not very good. It's probably not going to work very well on very many things. And on the other corner, they just have a little flat screwdriver. But this got my attention. Can you see it there? Anybody know what that is? Yeah, it's a rangefinder. And, I went online. Funnily enough, I went online and looked up rangefinders. All I could find was electronic rangefinders for golfing. That's just about everything they used it for. This is very old school, and if you look very carefully there, can you see the markings on there? And what you're going to do is you line this up with what you're looking at. I tried to find the instructions on it, and I looked up old school, basic, the first rangefinders. The most popular one that I found was the one from the American Civil War developed one for their soldiers, their snipers, and for the cannons and things like that. And it looks like this. And very popular. People love it. It's easy to use. And maybe I'll get one and we'll have a look at it. How useful it is. I'm not a hunter. I'm a fisherman. I don't need a rangefinder. If you hunt and things like that and you want something fun to play with, you're sitting in your hide, you've got nothing to do, you can range. You can have a look at things. And basically it's based on something that's 6 foot. And by looking through the rangefinder, it's got a little thing on it. It goes up and down. You saw it there. If you look here, it slides up and down, and you fill that. You have a specific distance. You hold it away and you fill it. And where that lines up, there'll be a marking on the back saying 100, 200, 400 yards. Very basic, very smart idea. Back to it, I try to find how this works, because for the life of me, I cannot figure it out. And if anybody knows how this works, let me know in the comments below. And maybe I'll get one of those rangefinders. We'll have a look at it, and then we'll have a look at this one. This here, this one here, you've got your different, they say these are very common bolt sizes, nut sizes. But this here is a wire stripper. Can you see that? You can see the sharp edge in there. You get your wire in and you strip it. So the idea was good. It does have a lanyard hole, and it came with this little carabiner, if you want to call it. I can see why they called it a hunk of steel. Fun thing to have these two together in a bug out bag or an EDC bag or something like that. I think it go nice together. I'm pretty sure you could get this to work on some things that you came across. You do have a pretty good range. You've got all this here and these there, and stripper wire, car repairs, that sort of thing, and you have your knife. Pretty cool. Thought it would be cool to show you. Just something to add to my collection, and I do like these knives. I am waiting for a couple of other stainless ones from Marbles that I'm really interested in looking at. Unfortunately, they're out of stock, so I'm having to wait for them. But as soon as they come in, I'll be showing you them. How much did I pay for these guys? Well, this, believe it or not, had a range. Where I looked around, everybody had a different price. I paid that much for this guy. It turned out to be middle of the range. The range that I came across was between $6.49 and I'm going to say $11, $12. So it is a fairly big range, but still inexpensive. You can't beat those prices. $6 for a knife like this, worth it. Love these knives. And this idea was such a good idea, which is why it is so popular. And of course we've got a hunk of steel. And this cost me 98 cents. These two together, pretty good bargain and cool to have. What can I say? Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back. I don't know if I can beat this though. Been thinking about saws lately. Need to know more about saws. And not the saws I have on my hands. Cutting saws, hand saw, bushcraft, yard saws, pruning saws. Things you can use in the outdoors when you're camping, bushcraft, whatever. Backyard gardening. Need to know more about them. What are the different blades? Why do they cut one way and not the other? Just saying. Thanks for watching. And you all be safe out there, especially with them sharp and shinies. Take care.